Welcome back. This video might get a little hot because I will be speaking on specific subject matter that needs to be expressed once and for all. As you can see, the title for this video is Polygon's Pretentious Pandering. I like wordplay, it's fun for me. My plan for this video is twofold. One, I plan on discussing an argument I had with a fellow gamer, and I will do so without naming this person, because I don't want to be a jerk, I don't want to drag him through the mud. The second aspect of this video will be the argument I had with a fellow gamer coincides with the Polygon article perfectly, and I will show you how it does in the end. To kick things off, allow me to show three separate definitions of the word opinion. And here they are. Number one, a view, judgment, or appraisal formed in the mind about a particular matter. Another definition reads, your feelings or thoughts about somebody, something, rather than a fact. The third definition states, a view or judgment formed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. You're probably wondering why I'm going out of my way to illustrate what an opinion is. Well, here's why. In the recent argument I had with a fellow gamer, this person insisted that I wasn't allowed to formulate any opinions on a game I haven't played. Now, I thought I clearly explained the illegitimacy of this argument in my video titled Video Game Journalism and Public Opinion, but I believe I need to be a little clearer, so here I go. When we were arguing, we were driving down Happy Street, going back and forth, and equally proving our points. But you took a sharp left turn down Negativity Lane when you stated that I wasn't allowed to have an opinion regarding any game that I haven't played. What you essentially did, or what you were essentially doing, is dictating to me how I shall formulate my opinions, by demanding I abide by your rules. This is where you slide down the intellectual slippery slope of wrongthink, just like in George Orwell's 1984. What you're saying is that I must submit to your demands, those demands are that I play the game, in order to garner a proper opinion of a certain game. This action is attempting to remove my free, independent thought, my free will, as it were. That is where you went wrong. You left the land of logic when you dictated to me that I must obey your edicts, and only then would you allow me my opinion. So I must point out that, mega awesome point number one would be, opinions, by definition, don't need validation, because they are neither true nor false, just like the dictionary definition stated. Now, you made two mistakes in your argument, and they both kind of tie together. The first mistake you made was, you attempted to dictate to me that I wasn't allowed to have an opinion on a game that I've never played. The second mistake you made was similar, in that you also attempted to dictate to me that I wasn't allowed to voice my opinions about a game and tell others to avoid that game that I haven't played. So again, mega awesome point number two would be, you are wrong on both counts because your argument is based on control, not free thought. To extrapolate my logical argument for further clarity, I've already mentioned that due to the advent of video streaming services, I don't need journalists for my purchasing decisions anymore. After the leaks of The Last of Us 2 were proven true, say for an example, Joel getting bludgeoned to death with a golf club, I formulated the opinion that the rest of that game wasn't going to be worth my time. Again, I based that opinion that I formulated off of the fact that the leaks were proven true. Allow me to go over that one last time. The moment you told me that I'm not entitled to my opinion because I never played The Last of Us 2, you are then removing free agency within me. And you are therefore dictating to me how I am allowed to formulate my own opinion. That's the problem. It wouldn't be an opinion any longer if I were to obey your demands. One final time. I don't need to play The Last of Us 2 because the certain scenes from that game have already convinced me that I won't like the remaining portions of The Last of Us 2. That was the opinion that I concluded based upon the evidence from the leak. In closing for part 1 of this video, what you were attempting was to erect some kind of guideline that I should follow in order to formulate a proper opinion. But in doing so, that eliminates my ability to think freely. And that's where you went wrong. You went wrong when you attempted to control how I formulate my opinions. And by definition, that wouldn't be an opinion. I would be simply following orders. And that wouldn't be free thought. Nor could that be categorized as an opinion. So now for part 2 of my video, the Polygon article. There's a Polygon article written by a Stacy Hanley. I almost said Henley because of Don Henley, you know, Eagles. I'm a musician, so that's it. Anyway, that in summary, her opinion piece is regarding Stacy's unwillingness to purchase the new Harry Potter game because she has it in for J.K. Rowling. Stacy's opinion of Rowling is that she's a transphobe, and within the span of one small paragraph, she uses that ad hominem 4 times, as you can plainly see. Now, she says transphobe plenty more times than that, but I didn't bother counting each and every time. But anyway, at this point in the video, I must admit, this is where the gloves are coming off, and I fully expect YouTube to give me the boot. I'm probably going to get banned for what I'm about to say next. So, here it goes. Number 1, using ad hominems aren't arguments. SJWs, I know that you might believe that throwing ad hominems are legitimate logical argumentation, but it's not. Number 2, I've never met a literal transphobe. I am not, myself, a transphobe, and I'm not going to waste my time trying to prove that to you. But nevertheless, the word transphobe is a contrived ad hominem that has no basis in reality. A phobia is an irrational fear of something, much like arachnophobia is the irrational fear of spiders. I do not have an irrational fear of people who wish to transition to the opposite sex. Yes, I said the opposite sex, meaning there are only 2 genders. Imagine if I just decided to start calling you SJWs heterophobes, republiphobes, conservaphobes, and Christophobes. That wouldn't make any sense, would it? I would be just calling you arbitrary names. In comparison, someone calling me a crackphobe is just as ludicrous. Do I have an irrational fear of those who smoke crack? No, I simply disagree with that lifestyle choice, much in the same way that I disagree with someone who wishes to transition. They're more than entitled to do whatever it is they want to do, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with it and celebrate that decision. If you want to lop off your ding-dong and turn it into a hoo-ha, you go right on ahead and do so. But don't expect me to pat you on the back for doing so. I've developed a keen sense on how you liberal SJWs interact with the rest of the world. You operate under the assumption that when you call us names, that name-calling is an extension of your virtue, your morality. Meaning your pontifications, via ad hominem, is a holy crusade that elevates your pseudo-piety to saintly levels. Removing the flowery language, what I'm saying is simple. Whenever they call you names, they do so with the belief that they hold the moral high ground when they insult you personally. Do you understand what I'm saying, people? These SJWs have convinced themselves that they are more virtuous than us, or anyone for that matter. Therefore, when they verbally assault our character and conjure contrived ad hominems, they believe to be in the right in doing so. Moving on, Stacy also mentions, and I quote, "The issue is relevance. Anything that keeps Harry Potter relevant keeps her relevant." You mean like writing an angry article about J.K. Rowling being a transphobe? Are you really this self-unaware? Yes, the answer is yes. Stacy then continues to wrestle with the complications of whether or not to buy the game. This is where things come to a head, and I quote, "I will not be buying Hogwarts Legacy, not because I think my own decision to boycott it will bring Rowling's empire transphobia crashing down around her, but because I need to take a stand." You know what, Stacy? You go, girl. You go right on ahead and you not buy the new Harry Potter game. And I'll continue to not buy The Last of Us 2. You see how that worked out? She's entitled to her opinion, and even though my opinions differ from hers, I would never demand of her to trudge through a game she doesn't want to play. She's entitled to her opinion to not play the new Harry Potter Legacy game, and no one can force her to do otherwise. Thanks a whole lot for listening. As usual, do all the social stuff. Remember, I'm on Gab, and I think I might, if I don't get banned, I think I might actually make a video about Gab and kind of showcase all the fun stuff you can do on Gab. But until then, remember, have fun.